Hey guys, welcome back to the Paleo Palette Cafe. Now, we all enjoy a good bread from time to time. Whether it is the Indian flatbreads like a roti or a naan, or it is the ones that are used in sandwiches, nobody can really deny the joy a perfect bread brings to one's life. We're going to create a little bit of that perfectness, that magic with our sorghum flour tortillas or jawar roti recipe. Now, sargam flour or jawar flour is a completely gluten-free flour and it's very nutritious. Now, if you've used this flour before to make any kind of rotis or tortillas, you'll know that working with this flour can get a little tricky. However, using my methods removes all the complexities. Also, today I'm going to show you two ways to making it. One is the tortilla press method and another is our simple basic rolling pin method. So let's get to making it. We'll begin with a stock pot. To that I'm going to add 2 cups of water and I'm going to wait until it comes to a nice vigorous boil. Halfway to the process, I'm going to add in 1/4 teaspoon of Himalayan salt and approximately 1.5 to 2 teaspoons of ghee, and you can easily sub this with avocado oil if you're a vegan. After it comes to a boil, and emphasis on the word vigorous over here, when it's nice and boiling hot, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch off the stove and I'm going to add 2 cups and 1/4 cup of pure sorghum flour. And make sure you don't burn your hands in this process. Then I'm going to mix this well until the sorghum flour is very well combined with the water down below. And once everything is very well incorporated, I'm going to cover it and set it aside for 25 minutes. Now, you may want to cover it with a lid of this kind where you have the option for the steam to escape slowly, but in this case you do not want any steam to escape, so you're going to replace it with a solid lid and let the steam work with the flour to maintain the moisture right till the end. Now, after about 25 minutes or so, the dough must have completely cooled down. I'm just going to separate it out on a mixing plate. And then I'm going to knead this dough together. Now, while working with the dough, you'll realize that it has a little bit of elasticity, almost giving it a gluten-ish kind of an effect without having any gluten in it. The dough also comes together very easily as compared to other gluten-free flours. Now, once it comes together easily, I'm going to spend a little bit of time on the dough. If you realize, I've changed my plate down below because I needed a wider working space. I'm going to muscle and massage the dough for about 30 to 40 seconds, and this step is very important because it helps you retain the moisture going to use a round shape and cut off the excess later on. I'm pushing the fat ends towards the edges and concentrating on keeping the roti as thin as possible in the middle. And once I get there, I'm just going to take a plate and cut out the ends. There it is, a perfectly round roti. Next, I have my iron cast preheated and ready to go. I'm going to lay the roti on the skillet. And this is the most important step. I'm then going to apply a little bit of water to the exposed surface of the roti and then cook it from one side for about a minute or so, or until the water dries out completely. And this is one of the most important steps because it will ensure that the moisture will be retained in the roti right till the end. After the water is dried out, we'll flip it over. And the moment you flip it over, you'll see that the roti will start to fluff up a little by little from the edges. I'm then again going to cook it from the other side for about a minute or so. And thereafter, I'm going to flip it again. I'm going to press the edges to make sure that none of the edges go uncooked. And I'm going to grab a kitchen towel. I'm going to rotate the roti along with the kitchen towel like so. And while you're doing that, you'll realize that the roti will start to cook and fluff up nicely from all the sides, like it's happening here. And I'm going to flip it again and I'm going to repeat this process once again on the other side as well. And I don't know about you guys, but I find it extremely joyful to see my roti fluff up and reach new heights each time that it does. And once it's nicely cooked from both the sides, I'm then going to set it aside. That was your method number 1. Now let's move on to method number 2. For the second method, you obviously need either a tortilla press or a roti maker. Here I have a super ancient roti maker and I have not really changed it till now because it still does the job. The process for the second one is almost similar to the first one. I'm going to first roll out a piece of dough and then going to massage it with the help of my hands. And I'm going to roll it into a circular shape and smoothen it out into a disc. If there are any uneven surfaces, I'm going to use my hands to smoothen them out. And once I've achieved that, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of sorghum flour on the tortilla press surface. I'm also going to dip the disc into the sorghum flour like I did in the first method. And then I'm going to press it to achieve a nice round shape. I'm then going to flip it over, sprinkle a little bit of flour. And flatten it once again, press it once again to flatten it as much as possible. And there it is. Hereafter the process is exactly the same as method number 1. I have an iron cast skillet preheated and ready to go. I'm going to lay the roti on it and then apply some water on the exposed surface. I'm going to cook it from one side for about a minute or so, or until the water dries out completely. Thereafter, I'm going to flip it on the other side. Now the only difference between the first one and the second one is the thickness of the tortilla. This one's a little thicker, that's why I prefer the first method on a normal basis, because it's nice and thin, and that's up to my preference. But this one's more convenient, and that's all. I'm then going to flip it over, and then I'm going to use a towel to roll my roti and see it fluff up eventually. And this one also doesn't fluff up easily, and it requires a little bit of your effort, so you need to keep pressing it on the sides. And it won't even fluff up as much as the roti fluffs up in method number 1. but it still does the work for you. Let's have a look at one more roti made using method number 1 so that you can clearly see the difference between the two. Look at how nice and round and fluffy this one gets. It's an absolute joy to watch it go up like this, and somehow I never get tired of the sight. That's about it. This one makes for about 10 to 11 perfectly round tortillas. Here I'm applying some ghee to the rotis, and obviously if you're a vegan, you can go ahead and skip this, but if you're not, this step might just be worth your while. Let's have a look at these rotis. They have a great texture and are soft just like the conventional ones. You can bend them or roll them anyway and they won't break. If you follow all the steps, they won't dry out as well and will make you happy each time that you make them. I hope you liked this video. If you did, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. Also, while you're at it, go ahead and hit the red subscription button down below. If you make your own sorghum flour tortillas or jawar rotis, make sure you click a picture and tag us on social media. We'll see you next time with yet another healthy and a hearty recipe. Until then, choose healthy to stay healthy. Bye-bye.